Hello, everyone. The chat is popping off today, which is very reassuring to see because the guest deserves it. Um, I hope everyone is having a good week so far. It has been a very busy one with I started a new job. It's been fun. It's been a good time, but I'm happy to be here and talk tonight. And I want to give a shout out in case he ends up watching it. But one of the VPs of my company stopped me in the hall today, and I thought he was going to compliment my work ethic, which was kind of suspicious in itself. Instead, he complimented this because his wife is a big fantasy reader, and they watched an episode or two. I see Trinity in the chat here. They watched your episode and had a great time with it. So I want to thank everyone who's been on so far and everyone who will continue to be on. And my guest today, I have read four of his, I was going to say, books so far. One of his full length stories and three novellas. And I am going to say it before I even bring it on so he can't blush and act all adorable. But for pound, sentence for sentence, I think this person is one of the best authors that I've encountered in the last couple of years. Every line is quotable. The way everything is written is amazing. And two of the novellas so far, which we're going to end up talking about, would be top five, if not best ever. I've talked with other people about him as well. And he is unanimously known as an absolute beast. And I'm excited to have him here and, have become friends with him. And it is my pleasure to bring him to the virtual stage now, Mr. Timothy Wolff.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, so I got it. Did you write that down or was that all off the top of your head? Yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you. All off the top of the head. I'm looking to the left where I have my questions, and you'll know because I'm going to say question mark at the end of those that I read. But yeah, that was all. I knew I wanted to say it and give you your flowers because I've talked with even a couple other people. We're part of the WWP, which I don't know why we don't specify that more because if you say it quick, it sounds wrestling and exciting.
It does sound wrestling.
Well, we haven't done that, but I've talked with other people there, and it's everyone loves your stuff. And each time something comes out, like I know other people have said you're an auto purchase author, and especially after this most recent novella, I am crowning you the novella goat.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I really wish I could just have you follow me around, and every time I enter a room, you just like give that introduction.
If we do like a Super Saiyan type thing, maybe I can get like a bugle, and every time you enter a room, I can just fire it off quickly. A little thing that comes off, but
and if I want to say, if Pete's VP is watching this episode, Pete's doing a great job. He brings a lot to efficiency and circles back on a lot of things.
Exactly. My notes are gone. Oh God. Yes. But yes, I am very stoked to have you here. I am going to pop the cover up. This is your new novella, Protocol of Valor, which
I finally have a copy, and I'll show you.
It took a little bit, huh?
Yeah, you know what's annoying is this happened with Whisper too, and like is Shane, I don't know if Shane's here. I can't read the chat, but he got a picture, or he got a book before it was even live.
Wow!
Like he tagged me in a review, and I was like, "How the hell do you? How is this possible?"
How do you have it and I not have it?
Yeah, and then it was funny because DB Steele was yelling at me because he's like, "Why didn't you give me a copy?" I'm like, "I don't even have a copy. What are you talking about?" This is it. Protocol of Valor, standalone prequel novella from my primary trilogy.
Yes, and I am going to get physical copies of all of these. I am waiting till we meet in person. You're another New Yorker guy, and I would rather give it to you directly than have Jeff Bezos take 80% of it.
Yeah.
So that copy in your hands is going to be mine. I'll buy us a couple drinks and food one night and get all of those.
Yeah.
I'm glad Dave caught this because it did really. You were impersonating ZB from Arkansas, but no person from Arkansas. So I said,
I mean,
what are you
I
talking
didn't
about?
realize I had an accent until recently. Like I was like saying, let's go get some coffee, and everyone was just like ripping on me.
Do you say
And
draw or drawer?
raw,
Same. Yeah, this is
yeah.
just us.
Like Pete, how do you say coffee? Do you say it like?
Coffee, coffee.
Okay, all right, yeah. I don't know what's going on with that, but I say coffee, and people make fun of me.
Oh man. But
It's a
yeah,
rough
well,
world, people just don't care.
so yeah, like you mentioned, this is a standalone novella from the main series. Like my wife just said coffee, so yeah, she
Coffee,
says it as
yeah.
well.
We're gonna go
Um,
walking, talking, and get some coffee.
walking,
Yeah.
talking. Get some coffee. Um, so my first question about this is, what made you want to write a prequel to this instead of, say further on down the line with the series?
That's a good question. So basically, I finished the trilogy, and I consider the trilogy done. Like I could go on with it, but I feel like I told the story I wanted to tell. And if I go on further, it's kind of just me doing it for the sake of doing it, and not because the story requires it.
Yeah, which
And I finished Whisper 2, and I started working on Requiem of Dice, which is a full length standalone in that world. And I just really want to write in first person. So I kind of struggled mightily on Requiem of Dice. It's still going to get done. I'm 35,000 words into it. But my biggest problem is when I write first drafts, they're disgusting. Like nobody has names. It was like king placeholder walks into kingdom name and speaks with the object five. And like I reread it, and I have no idea what the hell is going on. So I really got to take a weekend off and try to get myself back into the saddle.
Wow, that was actually another question I was going to ask, is what made you decide to go first person with it? But I guess that almost kind of answered it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, my first person material seems to be going over really well. So I'm just trying to just stick with that
Which is
because
always a good decision, because
yeah, because
yeah, the whispered novellas are amazing and in first person, but it also was nice to read because I read both of those before reading the trilogy. I'm
yeah,
halfway through book two, but when you kind of pivot out of the first person, you're able to get so much more obviously insight into each of the person's
yeah.
minds.
I personally don't think it's a great idea. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I don't like to do first person multi POV. It just gets really tricky because it's just like you see so many eyes and
Mhm.
it's tough.
Yeah, it does get a little bit wonky. I'm trying to think if there was any book that actually pulled off that without being confusing.
I read the Bone Shard Emperor from Andrea Stewart. And
And what
actually,
was
what
that?
she does, what a lot of people do, is the main character is first person, and every side character is third person.
Oh, that's
So I
interesting.
think that's actually a really good idea because you have your main person who's you're really close to, and you're kind of distant from everyone else.
Interesting. I haven't read any of her stuff. I see it all
Yeah,
the time, and some awesome covers in there as well. So I'll
yeah,
get
she's
there at
awesome.
some point. But yeah, um, as far as going back to the prequel aspect of this one, was this a idea that you had while writing the trilogy, and
No,
you kind of wanted to explore it, or was this just fresh?
it was fresh. So actually, it's from the perspective of Everlay, who gets mentioned in passing a bunch of times, and later in the trilogy, you kind of hear third hand that she fought Wisdom on a whole Vanguard thing, and it's not really touched on, but it's very important. And I was like, I could write that. I could write about that. So it was actually a good way to jump in because I didn't really. I danced with this idea or doing a really far back prequel with the gods when they were mortals.
Ooh,
But like, I think sometimes if you do too much with a character, you actually do them a disservice. Like
yeah.
I really didn't want to write like Wisdom's perspective as immortal because he was just such a different person than he was 600 years ago. And I didn't want to ruin anyone I already established, so I kind of worked on someone fresh.
And a lot of those characters that you established are so unique and so much fun to read. And I was gonna wait till we got to the trilogy portion to ask, but what made you take the different personifications of someone's attitude and make those the deities. Like that's such a unique way of doing things. There's the
Well,
arrogance, fear,
I thought it
strength.
was incredibly lazy after I finished
Ah,
my first book, because it was like, okay, this person's fear, he makes people afraid. This person's death, he kills people, and I was like, damn, that's actually really lame.
I know, but you don't see it that often. So when I was
Yeah,
reading it, it kind of came out, and it was like, obviously I'm going to get to those who
yeah,
worship strength, but it's so over dramatic, and
yeah,
the way that each of those things are, it's like a more fun version of Inside Out, where it's like
yeah,
you have all of those different personality aspects, and it's fun to watch them essentially fuck with the mortals that are still there. So
yeah.
I think that is, very the opposite of lazy, is taking something like that could have been a very overused trope or easy way out, and making it a kind of key unique part of the story.
Yeah, like my favorite one is wisdom, because like you just think that wisdom by his nature would be a good guy, and he's not, but he thinks he's a good guy. So it's
Mm.
kind of like that's why he struggles with wisdom and arrogance, because he's like, I'm trying to help you guys, and you won't let me take complete control. So you're really screwing this up for yourselves.
Yeah, he
And
really has a
he's my
problem.
favorite character. And what was cool about the novella was, even though it's not about him to say, I really got to expand on him as a character.
He like steals the page every time he's on
Yeah,
it. He is so over, like he's just hilarious to read from. I guess it kind of like, if he's your favorite character, maybe it says something great, like wild about the person reading it. But every
yeah.
time I'm on it, I'm just like, keep this going. It's so funny to do. But yeah, he's a great character, and all of the other ones are as well. I feel like your character work is second to none, really, and
Oh,
really
thank
what
you.
makes it so much fun to read.
What I really loved about him is his relationship with Francis. Is Francis? I take a lot of my toxic traits and just force them into Francis, which is alarming because most people say they hate Francis. So
I was gonna
that
say,
makes
I
you.
was reading some other reviews, and they're like things I don't like. Francis.
Yeah. And it's funny because I had to water him down because he was even more insufferable in the first couple drafts. And early beta readers were like, I just don't like this. Like, it's not bad. I just don't, just take this out. But I need him in the story. So I just kind of had to water him down. And I like his relationship with Wisdom, because Wisdom, Francis really struggles with his insecurity. And Wisdom has none of that. He thinks he's the greatest thing in the world. So Francis kind of, I don't want to say worships, but he really yearns to have that sort of self confidence that's just so toxic and like unabiding. So
Yeah,
they're a great match, but there's a horrible match for Francis in the long run.
yeah. Wisdom is like that Gaston level of confidence, where it's just like, why wouldn't you love me? And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take away all your free will. What's the problem? Like, you're not worth to be trusted.
Well, that's the joy of it. Is it's. I mean, every villain is different, but I think the best villains are the ones that really truly believe that they're the good guy.
Yeah, and then it definitely comes across that way, because the entire time it's almost like he's not so subtly just begging to let people. He's just like, just trust
Yeah.
me, I got this. But you're reading it from other people's
Yeah.
point of views, and it's like he doesn't have it. Like he's going to destroy everything, and he's so dead set on just like, if you just like put a little faith in me, I will. And it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
When you're writing and coming up with all of this stuff, are you a plotter? Like, do you have everything that where you want to go written out, or is it more of just whatever happens, happens? I'm just trying to get words down, and then I'm going to piece
Um,
everything together.
that's a good question. It depends on the work. Like wisdom, I mean, the whisper that replaced God, I had literally no idea what the hell I was doing. It was just, it was actually written by quotable lines and not plot or theme, which is insane, I think.
It is so quotable.
Yeah.
Like, that may be the most quotable novella I've ever read. It happens to be amazing, and
No, thank
Mute is an incredible character, which I we'll get back into. But yeah,
Yeah.
every line from that is just on point. So hearing that is crazy. Where it's like I'm just gonna try and make banger lines, and it'll work.
Yeah, but I mean that's such a stupid way to write a book. Like if you're watching this, please don't do that. Even though it worked for me, it's not good because I mean all I knew was the final line of the book is to be alone with my thoughts is just another form of being alone. And I was like, how do I get there? Like, so I just kind of, it's the most pantsed book I think that's ever been written.
Yeah, that's like a memento way of writing.
Yeah.
And it's like I have the end, and then I'm gonna see where it gets, how I can get there. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So like when people hate that book, I totally understand. And I thank them for reading it because it's not for everybody. There's no plot. There's no, like, it really kind of, I don't want to say it bothers me, but it surprises me that it's my most well received book because it's just not, it's such a depressing mess.
I was gonna ask
Yeah.
that too, because like everything else I've read so far of yours is not that. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you, not even how, because I could get how, but did you go in knowing you wanted such a massive tonal shift from your other work where it was like, this is just going to be bleak? Like, that is the Seattle in the 90s of novellas.
Oh, I couldn't figure it out. I wanted it to be, my first thought was it would be really serious and it would be like a Rorschach character.
Hmm.
And then as I was writing it, I thought of like funny lines and I was like, yeah, I have no idea what I want to do with this guy. So I just kind of just kept writing whatever came to mind. And then the hardest part is shoving in comedy into your writing, especially when you write darker themes, because it's either hit or miss. It doesn't matter if it's written well or poorly. If people don't like that stuff, they don't like it, and you can't do anything about
Yeah, that
it.
I don't know why. I love it. It really just like kind of hits where it makes it almost a little bit easier to read because he's
Yeah,
like the way Audrey just mentioned. He is out of his mind.
he's
Delusional.
absolutely Delulu.
Yeah, he's completely insane. But the way that it's written and the things that he's saying along the way are make it so much fun to read that it turns
Yeah,
it into maybe not as horrendously bleak and depressing as you think. Maybe because you're the person who put it down on the page, and compared to your other works, you can look at it from that aspect and everything. But
yeah. Well, what's funny is this is kind of a spoiler, but not really. There's one guest chapter in my final book, Age of Arrogance, that's written in first person. And that was the one where I was like, "Ooh, I think I could do this for a short book, not a full book. No one would ever want to read that." But like, I just wanted to write something really short after my trilogy was over because that took a lot out of me. That really hurt me as a person.
just the amount of effort that it took, or
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't want to be, not to throw anyone on the bus. I didn't want to be one of those guys that wrote two books and just wouldn't put out the third one. So I was like, you know what, we're gonna write all three back to back to back, no stopping, no questions asked, and I did that. It's like,
and then you actually went back and kind of edited the first one a little bit as well.
yeah, because like I just, it was the first thing I ever wrote, and even though I loved it, it was like there were obvious flaws. And now that I had 4 or 5 books under my belt, I was like, I can make this better. It'll never be perfect, but it can be better.
Hmm.
And so far, the reception has been better, so I consider it a success.
Yeah, because I bought the first book, I think, before the
Yeah,
revised copy came out, and you're like, no, don't bother with that one. The second one kicks the shit out of it,
yeah.
and I loved Platinum Tinted Darkness,
Okay.
so that kind of worked out. I'm glad in quotes you told me to wait because I'm sure it was good anyway. But
It needed love. I mean, I think the trickiest thing, the dialogue was pretty weak, and if I can give anyone, if you get anything from this show, is that fantasy books are carried by dialogue. If the dialogue is weak, it's doesn't work, you know. So that's like the biggest thing, and you really got to be careful with voice. I messed this up a lot in the very first launch. Is people kind of said things that were felt like it would you would just someone would say to you on the street, and you absolutely have to avoid that.
Yeah, can't make it too casual, I suppose, where it's like this
Yeah,
could be an everyday conversation, unless that's the point of it. Which
yeah,
actually I wanted to ask as well, because especially reading Protocol, over the last couple of days. Again, I said that word for word, sentence by sentence. I think you are one of the heaviest hitters out there as
well,
far
thank you.
as packing a punch. I have some lines here where it's quote. Oh, my screen went black for a second. Where quote, where reality fails, dreams are eternal. Inequality is a self inflicted ailment which stems from mortals striving to fill the holes in their hearts with gold. There's so many more that I wrote down, but I am not
Yeah.
an audiobook narrator. But I could be if anyone wants to pay me. This is my first unofficial plug. I'll do it
Yeah.
better than that, but I like money. Um, but what I wanted to ask about that is because those are, like you just said, the dialogue's so important. The lines
Yeah.
are, especially in a novella where there's not as much room to make not a mistake, but you have to get the impact across in a much shorter time. When
Yeah.
you write something like that, and I've always wondered this, especially with like musicians and authors and that type, like the creative type, when you put something like that down, do you instantly know I fucking nailed that? Or is that on a
Um,
reread where you're like, that sounds good. Like I'm going to keep that, and that actually worked out well.
so that's hilarious because what I'll do is I'll leave my laptop by me, and when like a banger line comes to me, I'll just write it at the bottom of the page or the bottom of the book, and I just find ways to force it into the story. Like that line you said, inequality is whatever it is. I thought of that, and I put it at the bottom, and I was like, man, how can I get Everlade to yell about capitalism and be natural about it? But sometimes what's really funny is when you think a line is a banger and nobody else does, and then a line you think is just all right is like the one that goes off. You have no idea.
Hmm.
I think I know, but I don't.
Yeah,
Like the most popular highlight I have is the one about pleasant reads on Whisper One.
yeah.
And I mean, that's funny, but it's really not the best thing I've ever read. But that's the one, that's the big one for me.
That is funny when you put it that way because it's almost like a Mad Libs type
Yeah.
thing where it's like I'm just going to switch two of the words around for a popular website, and like people are think that's the best one. It's kind of funny, but that was something I always wondered, especially you know as another big music fan yourself, like when you listen to a song or something like one of your favorites, and you're just
Yeah.
like. I mentioned Nirvana before just in passing or quoted it somehow, got it brought in, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things where you like when you think they got done with the recording of Smells Like Teen Spirit, they were just like, fuck yeah. Or you know what I mean? Where
I think it
you said,
depends. As I remember I saw a video about Stairway to Heaven,
mm,
and they were asking Jimmy Page like what was it like recording that? You're making one of the greatest songs of all time. And he was like, we were all so bored. So you really never know.
yeah, that's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of is like, yeah, maybe you just don't realize like the genius of stuff that is happening in the moment, but like kind of
Yeah.
reflecting on it. And I guess especially if you're in a band, especially you're doing it 200 times to get the right take. When you hear it at the end, it's probably like, oh yeah, this is amazing. But for the 14th flute take at the beginning, you're just like, holy shit. Um,
It's really fascinating. Like, are you a Metallica fan by any chance?
oh yeah.
Yeah, like, I remember when Some Kind of Monster came out, the movie, and then Saint Anger, the CD came out,
Mhm.
and it was just so weird to me. I was like, what happened here,
I
Because
think it was,
I was a huge I hyped that album up to the moon. I told everybody, I was like, Metallica's back. This is gonna be the best album they've ever done, and it sucked.
it wasn't great.
Yeah, but I was like wondering because when you watch Some Kind of Monster, they just everyone looks so miserable. I don't. They seem to just not care that it sucks. They just want to get it over with.
Yeah, that was a cool documentary at least because it gave
Yeah,
you a behind the scenes where maybe it wasn't as metal as it could have been for them to have like a group therapist talking to all of them,
It
and
was weird. I saw that
it
in
was
theaters.
super weird. But it was like I loved that because it was so pulling the curtain back, and
Yeah.
it's like, would you rather see like guys that wrote, had Kill 'Em All and Creeping Death, like talk to a therapist or break up? So it's like, I guess in retrospect, the therapist wasn't the worst idea, even though Saint Anger kind of sucked.
Yeah, it was
Um,
just like just funny to me because I mean they're rock gods.
mm,
And they would probably just like, just get this, fuck it, just release it.
yeah,
Who
put it
cares?
out.
Yeah. Whatever happens, happens.
Question coming in. Would Lord Mute review Bomb His Enemies on Pleasant Reads or Rainforest?
He would absolutely write the most scathing 1-star review. Especially like if he needed to do something important and he had an excuse instead to just review bomb you on Pleasant Reads. He would absolutely do that. And he would do it on every platform. So he would do it on Rainforest, on Pleasant Reads, on the other ones.
Yeah, I'm
He
Black
would be a
Sound,
vengeful man.
Black Ground.
Yes.
Um, so I wanted to pivot into the field that you're kind of in right now with the self-publishing, and want to give a special shout out. I stole this from your Twitter. This
Okay.
is the most recent sale that you did. Look at those numbers. Everyone give a round of applause because that is
Mhm.
awesome. And I
Yeah.
know, even just like talking to you behind the scenes and everything, that there was a couple thousand, copies moved along the way. And that was over like 3 or 4 days in preparation for the novella release. Um,
That was ridiculous. Oh, it really was.
that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
when I first saw that come in, and you were like, "Look at this," I think quote, "Yo, was that in 3 hours?"
Yeah.
I think was my exact message about that. But insane! Congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
Um,
It's weird because like the idea of paying a promotion to give your book away for free just seems like the dumbest thing in the world. It's like I'll pay you to take this from me. But I mean, I moved 5,000 copies in 1 month, so I don't know what's gonna.
Crazy.
Nothing might come from it. I might be a clown. I don't know, but we're gonna see.
I don't think so. But
Yeah.
go, basing it off of that, what do you think the hardest part of the self-publishing route is? Is it having to do that and move that amount of copies to hopefully get a 10% reviews, ratings, that type of thing?
I think it's just not knowing. I mean, you really have no idea. We all have strategies, but we really don't know what works and what doesn't.
And
Like,
it's
I want to shout. I don't know if ZB Steele's here, but he's really taken off. He's done such a good job. I am so immensely proud of him. He really just blew up in the last couple months. And I don't really know what he did, but it worked.
I,
Like it worked really well.
he popped off good. I think it's that nose to the grindstone type thing where it's like you just keep fucking chugging along no matter
Yeah.
what.
It
I
was his
see.
I read his first book, A Few Days More,
Mhm.
and ZB was always cool to me. Like he always read my books, reviewed them, and I wanted to like kind of show him some love back. So I started reading A Few Days More, and I think it had like 12 ratings on it. It was like all he had, and I was like, damn, this is actually really good. Like this is good stuff. And I wrote in my review, ZB's gonna take off soon, and he absolutely did. So
Mhm.
I like to think that I nailed that one.
Yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah,
But yeah, also incredibly well deserved.
he is
Great
a
person.
master of writing dialogue.
Yes.
He, have you read Inkling?
Yep.
Man, like the scene with the joke about the prostitute, that is gold, man. That is this S level writing. It really is.
It's been fun to, especially for me, jump into this scene relatively recently and
Yeah.
read read for a few days more Inkling and then Whispers almost in 3 months, and you're just like, oh, he got really good really quickly. But
Yeah.
it seemed quickly to me because I'm reading it all back to back to back. But the process that you guys all have, and it's been very enlightening for me to be a
Nice.
part of. Um, the first blog and then to join Willow Wraith and see the way that everybody in there kind of bounces ideas off each other, whether it's like cover art or promotion
Yeah,
or
like I'll be honest. Even before Willow Wraith, Bill was really close to me, and if it wasn't for Bill, I probably would have quit
Mhm,
because it just you get to a point where you're just writing books, nobody's buying them, nobody's reading them, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like why am I doing this? And when you have author friends, you can kind of just because you never want to complain publicly or you'll get destroyed. You just
mhm.
can't do it. Like if you say no one's buying my book, sad face as a tweet, you've killed yourself. It's
You're
just bad.
cooked. Hmm.
Yeah, but if you have a friend, you can just vent in private, especially if you get like a brutal 1 star and you because you can't talk about that publicly. But if you just bounce it off a friend, it really is therapeutic.
Yes.
Is Bill
Um,
here, by the way? I just wanted to ask him something.
Bill was here before. I saw him at the
Okay.
beginning. The other dude that we were just talking about just
Yeah.
popped in. Um,
Oh, there's ZB. Because I wanted to give he got he's a semifinalist in BBNYA, so I want to give him a shout out.
so yeah, very big shout out. I have number two here, which again I am
Yeah.
working on. I have everybody from our groups. I am on book two. I am on your book two. You, I'm on your book two, Bill's book two, Greg's book two, Nick's book two.
Yeah.
Everyone just needs to like stop putting stuff out until I whittle this list down a little bit.
And Natalie also hit the semifinals with River in the Galaxy. Very cool.
Sick cover.
Yeah, I have her full series.
Hmm.
She's brilliant. She writes like the craziest world building. Like she'll have really depressed characters and then they'll have whimsical space dragons and it's so awesome. And I don't know if Tim McKay is here, but he also made the semis. And I actually don't have the new version. I only have the old school one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Collector's edition now.
Yes. And also Molly, who's awesome, Dark Bloom, made the
Molly Wolff.
semis.
Yeah, no, that was a lot of really cool people. I saw
Yeah.
Thomas Riley made it as well. A bunch of other people that, especially, Tim McKay was in here before.
Yeah.
Congratulations to him. Everyone has been very supportive, which is why I like having this platform to even just
Yeah.
show books and be like, hey, give a shout out. So, congratulations, everybody.
It was funny
And
because like when Greg and I got eliminated last year, so I'm not throwing anyone down. When he got eliminated, I was like, this competition sucks. Nobody good ever makes it. And then like all my friends got it. So it was all good.
it's all that keep grinding
Yeah.
aspect of things where it's like one of them can shoot you down and then the exact opposite thing could happen.
Yeah,
So
like I saw Major Domo, which won Sphinx, got
hmm,
cut in the first round. And that just kind of shows you how random these things are.
hmm,
It's a total coin flip. Like you could to win Sphinx and then get eliminated first round to me is bonkers. But it's all a coin flip. You don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah.
So like if you get eliminated from these things, don't take it to heart. You really I feel like qualified to say this since I made the finals last year. It's all luck. I don't care what anyone says. Like obviously a better book has a better chance, but it just depends on what judge you get. You have no say in these things.
And for anyone who's watching who runs these contests, if judges don't like a genre, don't put them in charge of judging that genre. Uh, that's the only subtle shot I'm going to throw about it.
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't know what you're talking about, so I can't.
Yeah, wink, wink.
Yeah,
Uh, talk about it on the after hours.
absolutely.
Uh, um, pivoting back into the trilogy, I wanted to ask. I already went over how did you come up with the personifications to make the deities and everything. Uh, who was your least favorite character to write in that series? We
Ooh.
talked about
Um,
arrogance was the number one. To your favorite, I should
yeah.
say. But who was there anyone in there along the way where it was like, oh man, like I kind of want to leave this one behind, maybe drop the POV heading into the next book or so or two.
No, I never had someone I wanted to drop. Um, my biggest, I don't know. It's actually a really good question. Hmm. It really didn't. wasn't the POV, but what was going on. Like Serena was hard to write in the first book, but she was such a blast to write in books 2 and 3,
Hmm.
especially in book 2, because once she kind of had a new deity buddy, that made everything better. That was like the perfect thing for her.
Oh, that's all.
That was
That's
the
funny
missing
to
piece
hear.
of the puzzle.
Yeah, she was great in book one, so that's
Oh, she
even
was
cooler
great,
to
but it
hear.
was difficult because like it's hard to write. She's kind of like Lightning from Final Fantasy 13, and it's tough to like have a really like soldier like character and still be likable. And I mean I like it, but it took me a while to get there.
And it came out great because she was amazing.
Oh, like
A big highlight, actually. So that's even funny to hear that. That's what's always so crazy to me. Like when I
yeah,
talked to like Anthony Ryan last week, he was like, "Yeah, I was having a lot of trouble with Alwyn Scribe." And I was like, "How you would never know that?" Like Serena was
it's
such a great character that hearing like
yeah,
I kind of had like a little trouble figuring it out. Is like I would have never guessed that. So I guess just another testament to the talent it took to pull it
yeah.
off because it
So in the
came across
first
great.
draft, like 75% of the book was written from Zine's perspective,
Hmm.
because he was actually really easy to write, but very hard to write well. Because like he was just kind of lovable but dopey, and I was like, this is gonna get old real quick. But the biggest thing with him was in the second draft, I thought of the Renzo books, and that really helped him out as a character
Hmm.
because it gave him something to reference, and it was like, okay, there, that's your thing now.
Yeah,
Congratulations. You know?
yeah, that's his guiding light. So yeah, that also makes a lot of sense as
Yeah, and it
well.
was great because anytime like he compares it to something that happened, like that was how characters describe something is what's really important about their narrative voice.
Hmm.
Like Francis will use a textbook like the best is Serenity, like Wisdom's place.
Mhm.
When Francis goes there, he gives like a textbook definition. He goes, they have this. It's like a list. It's like this. And then David goes there and he's like, this place sucks. You know, like, I think his exact quote was, it was like someone had tried to create heaven without ever learning how to smile.
Mm.
And
See,
like that
another
doesn't,
banger quote.
yeah, it's funny because that actually doesn't tell you anything. But since you already know what the place looks like, you're just hearing his description of something you already know what it looks like.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why I like having. I was actually really the first time you get a description of Anonymous is from Sardonyx, which is hilarious, I think, because he describes it as just like the worst place ever. And it's supposed to be like the pinnacle of humanity, and he's just like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, this. I feel like it's almost cheating, but he is obviously a top two character.
Yeah,
Um,
he's really he's such. Honestly, the book in series never would have had any success without him. And
he's
he was supposed to be the
amazing.
villain, actually, in really early
Wow.
thinkings about this. I wanted like how do you make Darth Vader more cool?
Mm.
You make him into a dinosaur. You know, it's
I-
so I wanted like Sardonyx was gonna be like Darth Vader is a dinosaur. And then it just didn't make any sense. So, I just kind of made him this tone deaf, unbeatable warrior.
yeah, but he's hilarious.
Yeah, and he doesn't realize he's hilarious, which is my favorite part.
No, it's the best part about it. Yeah, like every other character is just like, what the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you're reading it, amazing. Why lizards?
I don't know. I mean, no, it's really funny is no one's ever asked me that. And you would think it's
Really?
like a really important question.
I That was like the first thing that I wanted to ask you. I have that in
Yeah.
bold on
I
my.
was actually, I don't know. You kind of, that's the most difficult question I've ever been asked. I had no idea. But I mean, I'm like, I got this. I'm a big fan of lizards. You know, so
No, so this is more of just a personal preference thing.
yeah, it's like just the idea of lizard because elves have been done to death, orcs have been done to death, not lizard people. Lizard
Mhm.
people still, I think, need their moment.
Yeah, they really do. They only got it in Elder Scrolls that they've been
Yeah, they look
properly
awesome in Elder
represented.
Scrolls. That was actually really where I got the humanoid thought for them because
Mm,
they fit in so perfectly.
yeah, they do. They don't really get their praise or flowers outside of
No,
that series, though. You never really see them that much.
yeah.
But it's also always funny because you mentioned dinosaurs. I went to the Long Island Children's Museum this weekend,
Oh, really?
and
Okay, where is that?
like outside of Garden City by like the
Oh,
airport
all
over
right.
there.
Yeah.
But it's just really funny when you see like a velociraptor skeleton and they're like a foot and a half tall. Like, it
Yeah.
was funny because it was like this to Morgan would look like what the movie thought it would look like to me and Laura. Like I'm
Yeah.
looking at this thing and I'm like, I will like I've had dogs bigger than this. Like I
Yeah.
would just kick it in the ribs, but like to Morgan running, it's like, oh yeah, you're like 6 feet tall. But it was just funny to kind of see that brought out another
Yeah.
lizard aspect. And Alex was very quick to point out that you had a T Rex right behind you.
Yes.
Um,
I have a lot of dinosaur stuff.
it's because dinosaurs are awesome.
They are, it's like it's very I think more people should like dinosaurs.
I think more people should stay liking dinosaurs. I feel like as a
Yes.
kid and preteen, they are the shit, and then it's kind of like they're just dead. Like, how much more can
Mm.
you really like get out of them at this point? Unless you're kind of
Yeah.
gonna be a paleontologist, and let's be real, everywhere and for the most part has been dug up that you can get to, so you're
Yeah, it's
not
true.
even finding anything anymore. But
Like it's that Step Brothers, right? With Will Ferrell. And, yeah. Like that end quote is actually really deep when you look back at it, like don't lose your inner dinosaur.
yeah,
And he goes, "Arr."
that's right.
Yeah. I think about that a lot actually. I think it's important.
That is actually very funny.
Because I mean, now that you have the new job, I work in corporate America. You meet people with no inner dinosaur.
Mhm.
Where it's just like there is nothing there's just no art at all. It's just all about Microsoft Excel and pivot tables. It's
I used my first pivot table 2 weeks ago. Actually, I didn't even know I
oh,
was.
nice. Your life will never be the same.
It
It
really
is.
wasn't. I was like, why haven't I known about this ever before? Like, it got introduced to me, and I was like, this is sick. Uh, at least my job, I'm still kind of in the creative aspect of things,
Yeah.
like making and building. So I'm like not a fully extinct dinosaur, but working on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alex, again, pivot tables are art. They are. Um, I wanted to see because again, the world of the trilogy is so much more expansive than the other work that you have out so far, which is the two Whisper
Yeah.
novellas. But how do you do such a good job or really pay attention to the balance between the world building without making it too complex and keeping the character development as kind of like that growth along with it where it doesn't feel too up and down, where everything kind of makes sense with the
Yeah.
way that they're living.
Um damn, you got a lot of tough questions today.
I didn't
I
want I
actually have
didn't
no idea.
I tried to
It's,
think a little more about it
it's
because I didn't want to just be like, you're a good buddy of mine and
yeah.
like me just be like, so like the Jets still suck. Like like
Yeah. No, it's tough because it's like I feel like I'm giving you a terrible interview here, but I really don't know. I have no idea.
not at
I
all.
just go chapter by chapter and I try to get a little bit in each one because I just never wanted to have. I was always afraid of having like the pages of like world building.
Mhm,
Or the biggest one you see in books is where like the character will meet a mentor character and he goes, "Sit down and let me tell you the story of such and such."
mhm.
And it's the most unnatural conversation that's ever happened.
Exhausting.
It happens all the time. And
Mhm.
it's what's funny, it happens in really good books.
Yeah.
Like Sword of Kaigen is one of the best fantasy books of all time.
Mhm.
And there's a scene where there's just a parents telling a child this really long block of like world building.
It took forever, and it was in like the middle of such an incredible book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really forgot about that. That was an amazing book.
Oh, it's just one of the
Um,
best books ever written. So I'm not really on it's a masterpiece. I'm just saying I find those things funny.
yeah.
Like Rage of Dragons has one too. where Tao meets his lady friend, and she's like, "Sit down and let me tell you pages upon pages of world building."
And it's like, yeah, no, no, thanks. That's where you need like the 15-second skip button. And it's like,
Yeah, but
okay,
I don't do that, and sometimes it pisses some people off because they're just like, I'm 60 pages in, and I have no idea what's happening.
yeah, but I
So
prefer that. Like as you kind of learn it organically as
yeah,
opposed to a giant info dump that to
yeah.
nobody
So I
will
mean,
make
it's
fun
really
of
about
years down the
balance.
line.
I don't know what the balance is.
Mm.
Like, I obviously think I did a good job with it, but some people don't agree. So it's I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I felt it was very well done where you're kind of learning along with the people. So I
Yeah,
always appreciate that a lot more than, like you said, where it's like, let me introduce you the history of our culture. And you're just like, holy shit. Like,
because I hate that stuff. Like, I don't really care about world building, which is probably blasphemy as a fantasy writer. I just care about characters.
mhm. I feel like that took a much bigger turn for me when you start reading, especially like Joe Abercrombie, where
Oh yeah,
you read
he's
the
genius.
first Law trilogy, and almost nothing happens.
Yeah,
But character work is, oh, this is the best series of ever potentially, and it's strictly just because of the characters.
yeah. I actually almost DNF'd the first law,
Mm.
but it had such a powerful reputation. I was like, all right, let's just keep going. Let's see what happens. And then by the end, they're like, this is the best goddamn thing
Right?
I have ever read.
Yeah.
You know?
That was like crazy turning. I have to like I've given a couple people like my copies of that, like my
Yeah,
brothers, like their friends, and it always gets passed around, and it's just like just roll with it. Like,
yeah,
it'll get there. That's one of those where I wouldn't fault someone for being like, this just isn't for me. But as
yeah.
far as
Like,
character
I don't
work,
know if Mike Molman is here, but he hates that series. And what's really funny is he hates that series, and he started reading mine.
mm,
And I was like, fuck, because if he doesn't like the first law, he's gonna hate my work. But then he actually ended up enjoying it. So it's all perspective.
mm,
'Cause, I mean, listen, that man is a genius. He just writes amazing stuff.
mhm. Yeah, that he catapulted to the top uh,
Yeah,
for me,
I
which
still haven't read The Devils. I have to read The Devils.
I have it on my desk, and I think I'm like 110 pages in, and
Okay.
it's like amazing, obviously, but just like with how much I'm trying to
Yeah.
read and stay on top of this, it's like gathering dust. And it's one of the reasons why I'm like, yeah, like, oh man, like I kind of want to get to that at some point. But
Yeah.
hot take, Joe Abercrombie's really good. Um,
Yeah. I mean,
and now to a pivot. I'm going to do a couple of rapid fire questions, super vague, nothing to do with
okay.
your books necessarily, unless you want them to. Uh, one, if you could only recommend one book for someone to read in a weekend, what would it be?
Um, Royal Apprentice from Robin Hobb.
I read, that's not the first book, that's
It
Assassin's
is.
Apprentice.
It's the worst in the series, but
Mm.
um, Royal Assassin is peak fantasy. So once you get through the first book, it's the best series of all time. That's my
I have
opinion.
all three on my
Yeah.
shelf over there. So I
I
like
do
the
too.
first one. Like,
I got all 16 of them. You can't probably see them, but they're there.
yeah, it was really good, but it was like, oh my god, I feel so bad for this dude.
Yeah,
Um,
it gets so much worse. It's I've never seen a character treated so poorly over 16 books.
I know that's all I keep hearing, but then when you read it, it's like, oh, it's one of those books where you're like transported into the world, and it's like
Yeah.
this is fantasy where you're living and breathing it on the page. So, all right, I'll do book two. You've convinced me, especially since I already own it.
If you don't like Royal Assassin, don't bother because to me that's it. Royal Assassin's a masterpiece.
All right,
And Assassin, what is it? It's Assassin's Apprentice, Royal Assassin. Then there's so many names. This is
a lot of names.
yeah.
All right, so that's that. What's a book that you've read recently that needs to be made into a TV show?
Ooh, okay. So it's not recently actually, but I'm still gonna say it. I really wish. I think Rage of Dragons would be an awesome TV show.
Mm, by Evan Winter, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I have him over there as well. Still need to read it, but very high praise. All right, so two books that you're just crushing my TBR with.
Yeah, he's
Um,
awesome. I don't know what's going on with his third book, but I imagine it's coming out one of these days.
famous last words. Hopefully
Yes.
not. Uh, what world would be your least favorite to live in?
Hmm. Oh, definitely the Poppy Wars.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, that was because I that came to mind because I read that immediately after Rage of Dragons.
Hmm.
But that was a brutal story. It was-
Did you read the whole trilogy?
yes, I did.
What'd you think of it? I had to stop after book one because it was just so unpleasant.
This is just my opinion. Book one is the best by a really large margin,
Hmm.
but I still am glad I continued on.
All right, so I will check that out at some point. Great first half, and then it felt, I get it. I'm a history major. I wrote
Yeah,
a thesis on like the rape of non-king in college.
yeah,
So I everything I was reading, I was like, I wrote about this. This is real. So it wasn't like a this is too dark and
yeah,
horrific.
yeah, yeah.
It just is what it is. People are horrible. But I feel like the main character was just not for me. So
Nah, and she stays that way the whole series.
yeah,
She
that's
actually gets
hard.
worse, if you could believe it. So it's
I almost can't because reading
yeah,
about all of that stuff, it's like having the someone you really hate tell you the worst things about humanity. You're just gonna be like, I got it, like enough.
yeah. It was fun because I read that 2 or 3 years ago, right before, I guess, a summer barbecue.
Oh,
So I'm just like laying there in bed reading atrocities, and then like an hour later eating hamburgers, and it's weird.
at least your day got better.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's still it's like I'm upset, and you guys don't know why.
and then the last one, what is your most and least favorite fantasy trope?
Ooh, I think my favorite right now is when the hero and one of the antagonists team up in the end to fight the real big bad.
Mm,
Like let's say just Goku and Vegeta fight Frieza. I love stuff like that.
mm.
And what do I hate? I don't know. Like, give me some ideas. I'll tell you if I hate them or not.
Oh my god, dude. Um,
I usually don't hate something. It really depends on
enemies,
how it's done.
enemies to lovers.
I like that, so that's actually a good one for me.
Because you love romanticy.
Yes,
I just
love
couldn't think of anything,
romanticism.
and I looked at your header and was like, this. Um, yeah.
It's actually really funny because when I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, like they don't like each other at first. I'm like, you guys are gonna work this out. I know how this goes.
I'm trying to even think about another trope then.
I guess I'm probably gonna be a hypocrite here, but unhappy endings.
Okay,
Well,
that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
because I will elaborate on that. If it's one book, it's okay. Like
Mhm.
Empire Strikes Back's a sad ending, but if I read a 10-page series and everyone dies in the end, I'm gonna be really mad.
Yeah,
Like that's not for me.
no, not a fun time. We
Yeah,
got
like I mean, Whisper One has a bummer ending.
yeah, it did, but again, I'm gonna ask about that in a second. We had some good ones here
Yeah,
where
but that was only 60 pages, so I don't really care. I mean, you'll get over it. Well, I didn't make you read 10,000 or 1 million words and then give you a bad ending.
of the ones
Chosen.
that Trinity is listed here. I think my least favorite of those, well, again, we'd already talked about it, the mentor archetype, where it's just like anything you need to learn, I will teach you. And it's like
I think that's um I use that, so I can't be too bad on it.
different way of usage though.
Yeah. Well, because I didn't kill my mentor. So I mean I just think there was the big because I think the funniest trope is when the mentor just yells lore at people and then immediately dies in the next chapter.
That's what I mean, that type of thing, where it's like
Yeah.
I am here to info dump you and tell you what you need to do, and then out of nowhere we're gonna get attacked and I'm going to die.
Yeah, but Trinity had one. Actually, I didn't think of it. Love triangles really suck. They always suck. No one ever does them well. I
Exhausting.
don't care.
Yeah. I was reading another book. maybe like a year or two ago, and it was awesome. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, but there was a Pearl Harbor love story in
Oh
it,
man.
and it was one of those, and I was just like, oh boy, like you go from like really
Yeah.
loving the story to all of a sudden you're like, now this character is just Ben Affleck. Like I
Like,
can't even
listen,
picture him anything but.
if the character is 16, it's cool. I mean, I get it. You don't really know yourself at that point. But if you're like 36 and you're in a love triangle, just get therapy. I mean, stop it.
Just
Stop it.
run.
Yeah. You're too old for this. You know?
Um, and I also wanted to ask about the whisper that replaced God, because I also wanted to make sure I know that the same cover artist did all of your work. So if
Yes.
we could give him a shout out, because
Yes. He is Alejandro Colucci. And he worked on really high level stuff. He worked on the Witcher series and some Assassin's Creed stuff. And he's on Readsy, if you know what that is. It's kind of like a high end self publishing platform, if that makes sense. Like you can hire people who have worked in really prestigious fields. And I asked him if he wanted to work. I thought he would tell me to like go away because I was an absolute nobody. I had like 30 Twitter followers at the time, but he was so nice. He helped me through every step of the cover process.
and that's awesome because the whisper
Yes.
cover is peak. Like that is sick.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean, it was just I was a nobody and he was a legend,
mhm,
and he really just did not treat me that way. He showed me everything, so that's why he does all my work because I'm a big into loyalty.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
he's an awesome dude, and
oh, that's
just
awesome.
yeah.
And here I was not knowing him, and I was like, let me give this indie guy a little bit of a shout out today.
No, he's a big
Not
name. He is.
realizing he's like fucking awesome.
He's actually worked with Joe Abercrombie and Robin Hobb.
Okay, so you're welcome for the free promotion, my friend.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he. I mean, I don't even. The skill is one thing, but his attitude was really what made me impressed.
and it's always it. That's why I wanted to like have a show like this where it's
Yeah,
kind of talking regularly because you get to know the actual like you're the author so much more, and it comes across much more genuine and cool as opposed to having someone, whether it's a written interview and you can't get like any of the
yeah,
charisma or personality across, or just like, so when did you first fall in love, like, so
yeah,
how do you like, I feel like just talking and having regular conversations is like, okay, I haven't read this person's stuff yet, but they're a cool person, so I'll take a shot on it and give it a try. So hearing that you reached out to him and having that pedigree that he did and was still super cool about it, I love that. That's
yeah.
awesome.
Because it's really it's very difficult when you don't know what you're doing. There's just so many little steps, and if you get any one of them wrong, the process fails.
Mhm.
Like you have to get the template, you have to get it to match the template. You need the measurements. You need it's just there's a lot of steps.
There's so much that I didn't realize that goes into all of this. Um, Probably just me being super naive, but
Oh,
every
dude, there's nothing wrong. I was bro. Anyone who doesn't admit that, I think, is lying because it's a crazy amount of work.
insane. Like I didn't even know that like they were beta readers and arc readers, like all of this until I saw like a
Yeah,
post for it, and I was like, I don't know what that means. And like eventually, the process speaks for itself. But it's just funny to see all of the little things along the way. Even in like we're talking about like an artist
yeah,
that's completely separate from the book itself, how much work goes into that. It's just funny how all of these things come
yeah.
together.
It's like I'm really fortunate. I have 6 books out, so I kind of don't care. Like I feel like when I write something, it's probably good enough, you know. But when you're working on that first book, it's the scariest thing. You
Mhm.
have no idea if it's good or bad. And that's why, like the first version of Platinum Tinted Darkness, I think had 25 beta readers,
Mm.
and it needed more. It just needed everything because you just you don't know what's good, or at least I didn't. So it's a very scary process.
Mhm. Yeah, it's very interesting to learn all the behind the scenes of all of that. um as far as other stuff, We've
Yes.
talked about talked about the 6 books so far and everything. I think you mentioned at the very beginning that the next thing you're going to be working on is the full length Whispers uh, world.
Yeah, that and I really want to write a cozy romantasy
Mm,
and a first person short story version. Like the trope fated mates.
no.
Oh, well, it's kind of like when two people are destined to be together. Like fated mates. I wanted to write
Oh,
fated
mates. I thought
hates.
you said knights.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Instead of fated mates, fated hates, where they're they're fated to hate each other.
All right. So yeah, there's that twist.
Yeah, and then they find out that they actually don't hate each other. And
Oh
it'd be
no.
really nice and cozy.
All right. So yeah,
So
it
we'll
does
see. I
sound
don't know. I really got to finish Requiem of Dice, or ZB's gonna break my legs.
yeah, dude, he's getting less happy by the day.
Yeah.
Which is funny because the next time we talk, and if it's still not out, we can kind of talk less positively about him if he's still hating on you for not releasing it.
No, dude, he's been so good to me. I will never hate on that man.
You're gonna make me do it myself then.
Yeah.
Fine.
No,
Um,
because like he was he didn't change when he blew up, and I really respect that.
mhm.
He was just same dude he was a year ago. It's cool.
Yeah, but it's nice to see that happen where
Yeah.
it doesn't, especially in that initial moment of blowing up, it not go to someone's head. It's like very reassuring, like
Yeah.
that someone is that level. So
Yeah,
it,
that
it
man is a certified bro.
yes,
Like
he
he
is.
gets the bro stamp of approval. You
Yeah,
know?
except the only thing is he hasn't, which I'm going to bring up to you, hasn't watched The Wire.
Yeah, it's actually I mean a lot of people who've never seen The Wire.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know. It's a masterpiece though. It's like really one of the best shows ever made.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it later tonight.
Yeah.
As far as shows go, what are some other hobbies? Any shows, movies, that type of stuff? Video game guy?
I was a huge video game guy until I started writing. And now I just don't have time. I really don't.
Mm.
I'm afraid I really want to play Baldur's Gate 3, but I'm afraid I'll never write again. Like Michael Roberti got Baldur's Gate 3 and I haven't seen him in months. Yeah, so it definitely seems like one of those things that suck you in.
Yeah, it's almost like when we were like younger and Counter Strike came out, and it was
Oh
like,
man.
well, what's going on Friday? And it's like 5 people are just like, yeah, we'll play like LAN Counter Strike, or
Yeah.
I'm not seeing you. And it's like that same type of vibe.
I remember playing Counter Strike from like 10 o'clock at night to 11 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Hmm.
Like my mom would get up to go to her nurse job, and her stupid son is just sitting there shooting people like Counter Strike. Oh, it was so much fun though. It really was the best of times.
It was a lot of fun. All those games. I remember in college we used to have the back-to-back screens and play 8-on-8,
Yeah,
Blood Gulch, Capture the Flag in the first Halo, and that was like it.
yeah. It
That same
was,
thing. Where it was like I'm getting to go to college and play video games instead of learning anything. But
yeah. But you learn a lot from playing video games. You
depending on the game,
learn
I
a lot
suppose.
about like slurs.
I was gonna say, yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah.
end up with a doctorate and getting punched in the face in real life.
Yeah, I remember I used to play I played Street Fighter 4 like religiously when it came out. And people would say things that was like, oh man.
Yeah, mean. People are mean. Funny
Yeah.
sometimes, but mean. Um, but the other big news of the day, which I wanted to ask because I know we're both big music people,
I know
Ozzy
where you're going with this. Yeah.
Ozzy
Sucks, dude.
Osbourne. No one could have seen it coming, but Ozzy has died. Um,
Yeah.
what was your favorite concert that you've ever been to? And don't say Sleep Token.
No, I've actually never seen Sleep Token live. I have a feeling they put on an amazing show
I'm
based on
sure
what
they
I've
do.
seen.
That's what's so frustrating because it looks sick.
Yeah. No, I do you like Sleep Token or are you a hater?
I'm a hater.
Okay, that's cool. I respect that. I don't know. I think it's brilliant,
I
but
need to.
I can understand someone saying this is the worst thing I've ever heard.
I don't know why though. like I'm trying to put my finger on it and I can't. I think it's the vocals. It's one
Yeah,
of
it's
those
like
things.
auto tune, like pop metal. I don't have no idea how to describe it.
It's like operatic pop.
Yeah, but
It's
I
very
mean, when it lands, it is like Infinite Baths. I think is one of the best songs of the year.
all right. So I'm gonna have to check that out as well
Yeah,
then.
but to answer your question, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you three answers actually.
Mm,
So the first concert I ever went to, I was 18, and my uncle took. It's fitting. He took me to Ozfest.
nice.
So I saw the final three bands were Black Sabbath, of course, Iron Maiden,
Mm,
and what are they called? Uh, Mudvayne.
Mudvayne, blast from the
Yeah.
past.
So I mean, I'm not a big Mudvayne fan, but it was still cool because I knew they had that song "Dig,"
Mm.
and when I was like 16, that was the best song ever. you know? But Iron Maiden was really the standout of that show.
Mm. Those are good
And
options there.
I saw Progressive Nation. I think it was 2008. It was Opeth, Dream Theater, and that's all I remember. So I guess that's all that matters though, because those are like the two big names. And I saw the Big Four at Yankee Stadium, which was Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, I took my brother. That was his first concert.
Wow.
Yeah, and people kept stealing our stuff because I was supposed to be watching over him. I was drunk. We kept buying T-shirts and we kept getting stolen. Oh man.
That's epic. If you are interested, I think me and my brother and a couple of friends were. Have you heard of Ailstorm?
Hailstorm, like, it,
Ale Storm.
no, I haven't.
All right, I'm gonna rock your brain. They are pirate metal, and
Okay.
yeah, it's like power metal, like that type of Judas Priesty like
Oh,
type
okay.
thing, but
Yeah.
not. They sing about being pirates, and people in the crowd show up with swords and eye patches and
Oh, it's amazing.
yeah, it's like Jimmy Buffett crowd, but for metalheads. So I think we're gonna go. It's in Brooklyn. You are more than welcome. I will mark you in as shotgun right now if you decide.
Okay.
Um, but one way or another, um, we'll be hanging very soon. So I
Yeah,
think
I'm sorry. I know I'm not. I've kind of dropped the ball on that. That's my fault.
no, we each did, but
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean, you have
forgive
a
you. You
family, so it's a
apologize
lot
to me.
of for you.
But yeah, dude, I am really glad that you wanted to come on, and I appreciate the enthusiasm in doing so, and especially behind the scenes, whether it was transitioning to like a new job and helping even just pick out the name for this. You're always there with good advice and input, so I just wanted to thank you for that for
I appreciate that.
helping giving me a push.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all good, dude. I'm glad, happy to be here.
where can before we close out here, where can the people in the chat and who will be watching find you online? What are the socials, and can they buy direct like I would like to do?
So, can't buy direct yet. Maybe one of these days. I'll be honest. I make 95% of my royalties from ebooks, so I kind of just focus on those. And I hate to say it, but they're all Amazon. Amazon runs the show. I'm too small of a dog to fight back, you know. But I'm on Twitter, on Instagram, on Blue Sky, and Goodreads,
Yeah, the big
which
four.
under the name Tim Wolf Author.
Tim Wolf author. I'm going
Yes.
to share all of that stuff as well.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone in the chat tonight because it was popping off, which I very much appreciate. It's fun
Yeah.
when other people have fun. And again, just wanted to thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for having me.
of course, and everyone who is here, go and buy Tim's stuff. Like I said, I
Absolutely. Yeah.
will
Immediately. No, don't wait till just close this interview and buy every book.
before you should have a
Every.
separate browser open. You shouldn't even have to close it. I don't
Yeah.
want to lose the viewers either, but there's that plus sign at the top right. Go onto Amazon, buy his stuff because I do not say things lightly. Like I said at the very beginning and halfway through, pound for pound, you're not going to find a better author than Tim, and I am
Thank you so
not
much.
exaggerating at all. So go out there and do it. And I am anxiously awaiting, probably not as much as ZB, but whatever comes next, especially with Lord Mute. But thanks again
Yeah.
for coming, and we'll talk to everyone soon.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.